we deal with.
Okay, thank you for that, Utkarsh. Now that explains it very clearly. So, as far as the key difference of what FireChain is about versus other layer ones and other layer twos, obviously, let's not count the layer twos. Let's count on the layer ones. What is the key difference? So, what would make Fire stand out versus just a standard layer one?
I think fundamentally the consensus mechanism and the kind of product that we are building, that will be point one. Point two would be the kind of community that we have built through our network of ambassadors, such as yourself, our community of developers, our community of ecosystem builders, and third is also our partnerships. So we have partnerships with some of the leading governments and enterprises in the world. We have helped incubate, or we are helping incubate, a wide range of companies across sectors. And we are working to both educate more people by integrating our curriculum in schools and colleges, and also doing a lot of market making activities. Because right now, the overall blockchain ecosystem is not where it should be in terms of size. Less than 1% of the world knows anything about blockchain. So our approach is to grow the community, build the product, strike the right partnerships. And I think this trifecta is pretty effective as a competitive differentiator.
That is amazing, definitely, and I think it is very difficult today especially in the space that is quite clouded with all sorts of things that is going on, that to make sure that you stand out from the crowd. And when I mean stand out from the crowd, you need to do things that are outside of the box. Make sure that you build the right community, you build the right team, you make sure that the audience, your main users understand what's going on, and from there you can build on top and keep evolving and keep growing. Okay, so I just like the approach that you guys are taking. I think it's very slow and steady wins the race kind of method, but it is definitely going to get there, and I know it will reach a point of it being huge for sure one day, because there's a long-term vision, and we'll talk a bit more about the long-term vision later on. But this is a question for Pratik. Let's move on. We know that Pratik, you're one of the co-founders. Utkarsh, you're part of the team. But can you maybe, Pratik, tell us a little bit more about the other founders, also the specialist team members you have, and what roles they play and where they come from? Pratik, this is for you. Hopefully your voice is working. If not, Utkarsh, you need to answer that question maybe. Oh no, it's not working.
Yeah, sure. Let's
I
give it
think
a
I think
second
this
to
is
Pratik.
Pratik's way of making you do all the work, Utkarsh, which is kind of smart,
No
right?
worries. Well, we're one team. Yeah.
go go ahead, Utkarsh.
So yeah, Pratik Dwivedi is the co-founder and chief product officer who I introduced. Pratik Gauri is the other founder, and he is one of the people who conceptualized the term fifth industrial revolution. And this for benefit paradigm was his ideation. And then Pratik Dwivedi worked to make that ideation into a reality, which is intimately connected to the blockchain. And both co-founders work quite closely with each other on all aspects of the company. And in fact, all of us in the leadership team and all of our team actually, we are quite synced, because when it comes to an early stage company, even if it's a unicorn, what creates long-term success is different teams collaborating with each other. So there is a growth team that works closely with the marketing team. Then the marketing team works closely with the tech team, and then growth, marketing, and tech, they collaborate
Hello.
with each other. And now Pratik is back, so he'll be
Oh,
able
thank God.
to
Go ahead, my
talk
friend.
more about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Discord, and my phone are not the best relationships ever. I guess it's Dubai. I think you was talking about the team, so Utkarsh, you explained it really well, I believe. I was listening in on the differentiating factors, Matt. One more thing that I wanted to talk about is, there is this element of sustainability in the consensus, which is the first of its kind, which is by far our largest USP. But one of the biggest things that we're also doing is to make blockchain accessible for people. So accessibility is a big factor for us. How do we bring that? I hope I'm audible, but how do I bring accessibility into the blockchain spaces. As a marketer, as Utkarsh was explaining, for me, anything that is adopted needs to run in the background, which means that if my mom cannot understand what's going on, it is probably not a technology that is yet adopted. So we have made the interfaces really easy. If you look at the testnet, the interface as compared to the blockchain is really, really easy. Solving problems in blockchain that people are not trying to solve, which will bring in more adoption. A very simple example would be if you send, let's say, $100,000, which is a big, huge amount of money, to somebody on another blockchain. What you generally do, and I'm sure Matt, you'll agree to this, is you send $1 or $10 first to see if it is reached, and then you send the rest. The
Absolutely
technology is
correct.
in a way where you don't really. Can you hear me?
I was gonna say yeah, absolutely correct.
Yes.
I even did it yesterday. I was worried because a new user came on board and they wanted to start crypto toast, and I said, listen, before I send you the toast, before it goes missing, I'm gonna send you $1 first. And yeah, you're 100% right, Pratik. That's what we need to do to check
Correct.
the
And the tech is in a way that you don't really need to do that. It's just that we are so scared of our human error that we do this all the time. Now, what we've done is we have built something called a reverse transaction module, which means that you can check the reverse transaction module. It's a part of the blockchain. It's going to be released in an update. And when you're sending this transaction, the transaction, if you check this particular module, the transaction doesn't go through until you a key is generated basically, and the key has to be put in on the other side, and the transaction when the other person puts it on the other side, the transaction goes through, which means your money will never be lost sent to the wrong address. That's number one.
once again. He's off the stage. Utkarsh, you can continue. That's very very interesting, by the way. I really really want to hear about more about that because it's that is a very very unique proposition there. Like no one else has it where you as in no other chain has it where you validate the receipt of the transaction before getting it. So I want to hear about more of that for sure. Pratik, are you back up? Is your mic working? If not, means maybe Utkarsh can continue on. Utkarsh?
Yeah, so just building off of what Prateek was saying. So, all of us have made these kinds of mistakes, or many of us have, where we inadvertently transfer it to the wrong person. So, we are trying to, make sure that such mistakes are reduced to a minimum. But the broader point that he was making about accessibility, how might we enable more people in the world, like people who are not crypto natives, to start using it, is something that is important to our mission. So if I were to combine both of them, accessibility of usage and it running in the background efficiently, sustainability, which is highlighted in the consensus mechanism, which is unique to us, and third would be resource efficiency. So even though we are a unicorn and we've become or we've got there at a really rapid pace, we are very, very cautious when it comes to spending and resource constraints, and all of these things are very important to us. So we don't believe that if you have raised a lot, it means that you need to spend a lot. We take capital quite seriously and we deploy it, with a lot of intention. So I think together, all of these things combine and bring us important competitive leverage. And we're long term committed to enabling more killer Web3 apps on our ecosystem. And, based on the community partnership and product trifecta, I think with all your support and love, we might just get there.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And those are very interesting points brought up because we've got typical, as I said, layer ones before that just spur out layer ones for the sake of spurring up. I think what you guys tackling, especially your sustainability and those kind of user nuances that help make onboarding easier and mass adoption better. I think these are the ones that we got to look out for, and I just applaud you guys for thinking of those things and doing them. And like everything else in the space today, what we call them all experiments, as in because it's all so new and so fresh and different that I think the side of things where you need to make sure is the ability for everyone to pick them up later on. Like whether whatever is new, they need to come in and just grasp it. So That's something that I'm sure your team will deliver well, and all your messages will do well as well. So that's great. So thank you for introducing the founding team, and so far, by the way, whoever's joined here now, there's got 45 people in the audience. Whoever's joined here right now, we so far welcome both of the team members here from 5irechain, Pratik and Utkarsh, and we're going through a couple of questionings. So far, we've asked them what 5irechain is. If you don't know, you definitely can jump online and go to their website and have a look. The actual co-founder is here as well, and the other co-founder is not around. But I just want to read a little blurb about the other co-founder whom I met. And for those of you that know, been following what I've been doing, you guys must have seen me with him here in Melbourne. And Pratik Gowri is a serial Indian social entrepreneur, investor, public speaker, and writer, widely known as the creator of the fifth industrial revolution. He has been championing the UN Sustainable Development Goals and helping transition the world from a for-profit economy for a for-benefit economy for more than a decade. And I think he's also he's won many awards. I think this year and sorry, last year alone there was plenty that was given to him. So he's accolades driven. He's a really nice guy. I personally had a chance to break bread with him, and yeah, he's just a lovely person that I think is deserving of leading this massive fire chain that's coming up. So the next question I've got, Utkarsh, and you mentioned it before about unicorn status and capitalization and the way you're going to spend that. Can I ask, how is the project capitalized? Like right now, is it funded through private sale tokens? Is it funded through VCs, or is it a mix of both? How's the project been funded till date?
Well, we have institutional investors on board and also quite a few early adopters to the project. So it's a combination of equity and tokens. And we have been achieving our product benchmarks regularly. And recently we went live with our testnet. And I'm very happy to report that the number of smart contracts being built there, the number of people deploying interesting applications, kind of feedback we are getting, it nudges us to believe that people are excited to build on Fire, which as a chief marketing officer I take a lot of happiness in, because ultimately it all comes down to creating a product that people just can't wait to build on. And based on the data that we have from the testnet, things seem to be moving in that direction.
Okay, that's perfect. So the testnet's up right now. Can we
Yes,
just
and I
okay?
hope all of you give it a try. Yeah.
Yep, definitely. I think I'm gonna go into further questions about the testnet in a second, but maybe I want to go on the project side a little bit more first right now. And so the token name is Fire, is that right? And when is that roughly launching, you think?
Yeah, it'll launch around the time of our mainnet, which will be sometime in Q3 of this year. And the entire roadmap for the project has been published on our website and our blog, and I encourage you all to check it out. I think you'll like it. But yeah, as soon as the mainnet goes live, we will be you'll all be able to buy and sell and go through all of those activities.
I think that's great. So you've got testnet up right now. You're gonna run it all the way to Q3, and then you do the TGE or the main event during mainnet. I think that's very smart. Then at least you get um, all the users on board at first, all the kinks out of the way, and people making sure that they use it properly, because ultimately it's about utility and creating the revenue to support everything all the way through. So I like that a lot, and I think that's good. So guys, if anyone here wants to know what's going on with roadmaps, I know many of you asked some questions about what's happening. Definitely, as you heard it from Utkarsh himself, jump on the website. The roadmap is published there, plus their blogs, plus I'll go through some details on how we can follow them later and learn more. But yeah, everything is up there. Everything is on their website to have a look at. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. Let's move on to the next question. So, um, and this was something that I just mentioned just then very briefly, right? So, to how does 5irechain generate revenue to support the longevity of the token price and the project as well? Because I think this is important. Um, And either of you can answer, either Utkarsh or Pratik. Go for it.
Let's see if Pratik is able to join or not.
Yep.
Um,
Pratik, he's up at the
Maybe
top, but
unmute
he's on he's
himself.
on he's on mute. Maybe he can answer. Pratik, no, he can't. If not, means he's gonna take the next question. Utkarsh, you can go ahead, my friend.
Okay. All right. So, if I understood the question correctly, it was about the business model and how
Correct.
Fire might make money. So there are
Correct.
multiple ways. One is, of course, the token aspect of it, which is common to multiple chains doing really well. And we want to build our tokens based on very clear demand and supply. So we don't want to encourage incorrect market behavior or boom and bust tactics. So you want to build for the long term. So token economics would be one aspect of it. Then it comes to the dApps that I mentioned. So we're a playground, and we want others to come and build. And out of those dApps, we'll come up with a sustainable business model that will work well for us and work well for the builders. It'll be a lot more fair, hopefully, than what people saw in the Web2 ecosystem, where platforms became a bit too dominant and had the ability to really do some practices which were inefficient for the market and inefficient for the builders. And then the third aspect would be, I think, a large number of companies will be transitioning from the Web2 ecosystem to the Web3 ecosystem. And that means that all of these companies will need the support, both consultative as well as technical. And we believe they'll turn to Fire. And I think in that regard, our adoption, our education, our partnerships will be really handy, because they not only build trust, but also signal to the market that these players are in for the long run, and they are interested in making sure that the applications run smoothly and do their job. So combination of token, um, dApps, and partnerships, which will be leading to mass transition from Web2 to Web3.
Gotcha. So you're organically getting revenues from these protocols that, well, the projects are going to be building on FireChain. Correct me if I'm wrong here. How about the transaction fees and all those other things that could equate to revenue? What is, I mean, what I'm more interested in is the revenue side of things. Like ultimately, yes, we've got token pricing and tokenomics to handle all of those things there, including emissions, etc., etc. But I mean, I think a very important thing is how is the project going to generate revenue. So you mentioned before the apps. You mentioned also what was the first one you
Web2 to
mentioned?
Web3 transition.
Okay, so all those
First
are
one was
those are
token.
those are those all charged to the to the users, as in those particular project founders, or for FireChain to generate revenue, or how does the revenue model work? I'm talking about money in revenue.
Yeah, so suppose there is a large media company that transitions to or wants to embrace Web 3.0. So I think they'll have to build knowledge capital. On top of that, they'll need to build out the technical infrastructure, and they will have to then figure out how to create revenues for themselves using that ecosystem. Our aspiration is that most such companies will pick FireChain as their platform, and then based on our services, we'll able to come up with a model that works well. Of course, the ways would be gas fee, etc. We plan to be very, very competitive when it comes to our pricing, but that's just not it. Overall, the product superiority will speak for itself, and you will see that the there'll be three revenues that will come from this. One would be, just revenue of technical consultation. Second would be, revenue share based on, shared infrastructure that is created. This is to TBD, has to be figured out and needs to be customized for different people. And then, of course, any chain to keep running, there needs to be a basic infrastructure cost, which we again plan to keep it really competitive. So, just in the Web2 space, a lot of the ways the cloud companies thought of it, we just want to make it more fair and make it more easy to use and accessible for different companies.
Okay, cool. Pratik is back here. Pratik, you got any comments on that there? I think your audio was working, and then yep, there we go. Pratik, go
Hello.
ahead. Yes, we can hear you, Pratik.
Oh wow. Okay, great. Um,
Welcome back.
well, no, I mean, I was just listening into what Utkarsh is saying and reading the questions that somebody's asking in a minute. So I'm going to try to answer that. I'm just going to check again. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yes.
The question simply was, how does FireChain generate revenue to sustain longevity of the token price and the project? That was the main question.
Yeah, so of course you guys know about all the layer one revenue sources. So you got the transaction fees, then you got your blockchain as a service, you got everything that comes packaged as a layer one. What we're also planning and pushing pretty hard is for our sustainability index to be the standard. So we're talking to some major governments in the world because it's not signed. I won't be telling you that it's already done, and also it's an NDA. But we're talking to one of the biggest governments that has very open business policy. So the discussion there is that they'll be using a sustainability index to index all their companies based on what score they get. And depending on the score that the company has, funding will be released. So if a company has a lower score, they'll be eligible for a lower amount of funding from that particular.
There must be a time limit of something like that for him to basically have his answer. I don't know what's going on with the connection in Dubai in regards to Discord, but it's okay. I think Pratik was trying to. You guys want to finish what Pratik was trying to say just now, if possible?
Yeah, I think he was just talking about one was the standard blockchain fee, which is transaction costs and gas fee, etc., which is common to everyone. And then blockchain is a service model, which I described in the Web 2 to Web 3 transition and the dApps coming to fore. And I think in addition to that, a lot of our efforts in education, etc., which we have already struck partnerships with Abu Dhabi University and Government of India, and plan to do that with many others. We also foresee, and this is to be ironed out, our education layer to become
Okay, either it's my connection here or I'm not so sure whose connection, but I can't hear you, Utkash. Can people in the crowd hear Utkash as well, or is it just me? No sound, no sound. From me? Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
I was just talking about the transaction fee, the gas fee, the Web 2 to Web 3, blockchain as a service model, education layer becoming an important driver of adoption, and so forth. And all of this, like creating a thriving ecosystem that works for all. I do want to point out that we've just launched our testnet publicly. We are still very much in the early stages of revenue, so that the expectations can be matched according to where we are.
I love it. Pratik also just replied in the chat because obviously it's not working and is getting a lot of emoji reactions to it right now. We are also looking at revenues from our accessibility drives. Imagine people paying $1 extra for secure transactions. That is great to hear. That is so it's like an insurance mechanism to ensure that transactions are done right. I think that is super sensational and super smart. We've seen NFTs being hacked. We've seen transactions going the wrong way. I think even paying that extra dollar here and there for insurance works really, really well. We've seen it work really well on holiday systems and everything else. Pratik, I think it's best you run the chats. I think it's really good. People are loving that right now. So if you can't come up, run the chats. That's fine. He'll be here, guys. Pratik is here. He's just in text mode, not audio mode. But let's carry on. We're almost there. We're halfway through. Excuse me. So I really love what's going on, guys. By the way, we've got 50 people in the house right now. For those of you that joined just then, there's a chat bar up the top. You can ask your questions if you want to openly, and I'm also going to shoot through a line of questionings. All of this is meant to just get clarity on the project a bit more so that we understand and know how we can join the project and how we can be part of this amazing project, okay? Because you got the actual founders here and the actual people from the team here itself. So the next one I've got is, and I think you did mention a little bit about this before, Utkarsh, and I want to just know maybe some key areas on what you're trying to do. To grow and evolve the user base. So you've got your basic current testnet members that are coming on. Then you've got your scheduled people coming on as well. How will 5irechain grow and evolve its user base over the course of the next few years?
It links to the previous answer that I'd shared, which was the first point would be doubling down on accessibility, which is creating a more delightful experience for existing users and educating new users to be able to navigate that. And not everybody, say, who drives a car understands the internal combustion engine, or anybody who uses the internet really understand how internet works. But the overall ecosystem does come together. So our goal is to be able to get to that level of adoption where people can use it seamlessly, and we'll do that by nudging and incentivizing the creation of Web3 apps that create such a scale, and we'll complement that by our efforts in strengthening partnerships. So currently, let me give you an example from India. So we joined hands with Government of India's Niti Aayog, and our blockchain curriculum, developed in partnership with them, will be reaching estimated 7.5 million students who are enrolled as part of the Atal Innovation Mission, an innovation program run by the country. So that's a large number. And we similarly struck a partnership with Abu Dhabi University, and we're running a bunch of hackathons in a few days. And these kinds of efforts, which are educative, instructive, and also fun, create a brand and the perception of what's there in a very positive light. But brand can only do its job if the product is in place. And as I was explaining earlier, the traction on the testnet seems to suggest that things are, in a robust shape. But we still have a long way to go from the testnet to mainnet. Our tech team, our adoption team, our marketing team is working, night and day to ensure that the number of people who engage keeps growing on a daily basis. And we are going from small towns in India to large cities in Canada and America and Australia and so forth. And the idea is to really make blockchain accessible, sustainable, and financially viable for people at scale.
Okay, that is great. I think you said something before which struck an accord with me, which is two things. One is students. 7.5 million students. Was that the number, Ukash, in India?
Yeah, yeah.
That's number one. I simply adore that because that's what I've done. That's how I've built my project. So a lot of the community members here are students from all over the world. We ran the biggest ever from the NFT side of things, biggest ever NFT DYR competition last year in February, and we got a whole ton of students that are part of our community, follow us. Like to us, it didn't really matter whether or not they went out there and paid absorbent amounts of money, for this and that. It was more about the education, more about getting the DYOR concept on projects instilled, so that we don't fall towards greed. We rather support and push projects that are doing the right things. And so far, what you're telling me today, and what Pratik's answering in the chats, is there for the long term, which is very, very important. That's number one. What students you strike a comment. The second thing is about what you guys got going on from your sustainability angle. I think that is another thing which is entirely different, and if it's embedded, if it's in actually your contracts, your smart contracts, and your I guess your crux of your whole chain, I think that is going to be totally different, and could attract a lot of new people on, especially those that don't know what the technology is about. It is the best thing to do, actually. I call it the Trojan horse approach, where you can just bring people on without them knowing that they're even starting Web3. And I love that part there. Okay, so kudos to that there. Moving on. I want to know from you, Utkarsh, and obviously Pratik, if you're in the chat, you can also add your own comments there. What is your 3 to 5 year to 10 year vision of this project? Because I want to see this project obviously go into the future and bring the future forward. So, what do you have as far as your 3, 5, 10 year sort of project vision is concerned?
For any playground, the goal is to have lots of players come and play and have a wonderful ecosystem. So for us, as a digital blockchain powered playground, we want mass adoption across enterprises. If you look at where we are in terms of achieving the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, there is still a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of carbon emission, in terms of the global warming and many of these aspects. So we want to be closely connected with the Sustainable Development Goals and partner with organizations and bring them on our chain. This will happen not only because organizations are committed to the Sustainable Development Goals, which I hope they are, but also because it's intimately linked to their financial outcomes. That's the whole premise of the fifth industrial revolution. So we want large companies, startups, to start looking at the FIRE consensus mechanism closely and adopt the FIRE chain because it will be hopefully financially rewarding as well as environmentally sustainable. The long-term goal would be to achieve the sustainable development goals, but we obviously cannot do it alone. So we have to strike the right kind of partnerships, give the right kind of education, and build the kind of incentive structures, business model, etc., that will enable this challenging goal being met together.
Cool. Okay, that's great. Um, so you mentioned before, but just also on the top of your head, or anything that you can disclose to the community here, what are some of the known brands, entities that have committed to be part of FireChain moving forward?
So I pointed out two partnerships, the Government of India partnership and Abu Dhabi University. They are the latest. But we also have partnerships in the works with various multinationals, which cannot be disclosed right now because of NDA. We have been in advanced talks with large financial institutions, large institutions in the infrastructure space. Intex, for example, a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate here in India, is already our partner. Similarly, there are police departments in India, Africa, and the US, which have engaged with us. And this was, of course, these partnerships were struck largely based on the team, the product, and the potential. So, because of the NDA, I cannot name some of the financial institutions that we discussed, but it's safe to say that we're talking about some really large players who understand that the move to Web3 is inevitable, who just have to, work with us long term to be able to achieve their own goals. So we'll very much look forward to sharing those details with you at the right time. But for now, our single call to action is build on our testnet, tell us what we're doing well, and point out what we could do better.
Okay, no, that sounds really, really good. I was gonna actually ask a few more things on that there, but I'll park it for now because I was gonna ask. Looks like you've got the military, government, a lot of those bodies, backing or not backing, but partnering with FireChain to build on FireChain to move forward. And I know that in Australia as well, I've got a lot of connections in this scene for the last 20 years. I've built businesses that that come from these spaces. A lot of them are government-backed organizations, and one of the key concerns right now in the space, everywhere you can see the SEC regulations with Kraken, problem with them, Dapper Labs with the NFT claims on emojis. So I don't know whether you heard about that, but the crazy thing that emojis could mean financial advice, various other things. So yeah, my minor question, if you don't mind asking, is the regulations or the governments that you guys are talking to, and how do you playing that role there to ensure that FireChain is going according to plan? Okay, is that something you can answer?
Yeah, I mean, we actually believe that the regulation has a place in in the blockchain ecosystem. So we don't plan to work against any government, but rather in partnership with governments, not only in markets where we're there, but also markets where we will be. Because building trust with the regulator, building long-term relationships is really important. So we take that as an important duty as a layer one blockchain unicorn to work closely with the government to design regulations that can keep the market safe and secure for the long run.
Amazing. Okay, that's great. So I just got a few more other questions because I think you guys have been kind enough to be here for now almost close to 45 minutes already. But yeah, I've got just a few more questions which I think are quite important and will help a lot of these users go out there, not just by themselves, but by their own represented communities out there as well, learn more. So what is the, you already mentioned the testnet, which is live and running right now. What are some other important upcoming events that is being done by 5irechain over the next, I would say, day, 2 days, 1 week, like short term wise? What are some of the things that our users can get involved with?
So we are basically in Mexico right now, where we'll be hosting a large blockchain summit. After which we are heading to UAE for similar hackathons and education and partnership sessions. After that, the plan is to also go to Australia, and our team is totally decentralized. So stay tuned for more updates. But we have ambassadors all over the world. Matt is a shining example of an ambitious ambassador who's doing really well. And then stay tuned for some of our partnership announcements. And in the coming few months, our top priority is to get the tech right and to create enough excitement in the market that the players who will be building on Fire have the right tools, techniques, and the support system to do so. We'll also be rolling out a grants program of a very large corpus, which will enable people to try out ambitious projects and have the support of the Fire team, direct access to technical team if they need in order to get to the right level.
That is really cool. Um, so with your upcoming events, I didn't know you guys are in Mexico right now, and I'll most likely also be in UAE. Well, in particular, Dubai, probably next week. There's a few things that are going on there. I think there's the conventions. There's a few crypto conventions plus investor meetups that we are going for as well. So we may see you there. Depends on the timing, obviously, but we'll catch up when we're there for sure. And then I guess right now, most importantly, I want all the audience members here to listen. Okay, so um, Fire has quite a few things that they are doing right now in particular testnet stage. You can go in there, you can check out what's going on, you can help them test and provide feedback. A lot of the layer one chains at the very beginning, when they start, they offer certain maybe bounties and hackathon contests to be part of. Utkash, do you have anything right now that because I've got a quite a in this right now I'm looking at the members here as well. I know a lot of them are quite well versed in code. Some of them are well versed as well in identifying stuff. I know they've helped me a lot during the crypto toast journey we had. So is there anything you could point them in the direction if they're interested to come and support 5irechain in that sense, from a bounty perspective or from something that they can specifically do for you? Is there anything there at all?
Yeah, we have a really interesting build to earn campaign. We also have a break the testnet campaign, largely designed if you find fault in what we have built, find mistakes, we will actually reward you for it. Um, so we want to we want to incentivize the early adopters. So if you go and build right now, you can expect to benefit significantly from the build to earn campaign as well as the break the testnet campaign. In due course, we'll also be launching, interesting programs for building dexes and bridges, which will have a similar incentive structure. But yes, the broad point being that this is like if you build, please expect to be supported and rewarded by us. It's very much part of our plan, and we take it quite seriously.
Thank you so much. So, guys, you heard that firsthand from Utkash. If you got anything you can do to support. I know many of you got different talents and skills, all the way from standard designs, graphics to engineering to breaking products. I know you guys are really good at that. Feel free to reach out to Utkarsh and the team to see what you can do to help FireChain progress and do like ultimately as a builder in the space as well. To me, the most important thing is to help each other no matter what. Like this pie is so small right now that the bigger we grow it, the better it is for when we get mass on boards later on. There'll be a bigger chunk of the pie for everyone later on. So I'm more than happy to support Utkarsh if any of you guys need to go and do things with them to help. Um, you can learn more from the Discord. You can learn more from a few other places. But yeah, that question there, we might use that as a last question, and then after that, we can go to any crowd specific questions that you have. Um, where can people stay up to date with FireChain, and where can people get in touch with you, Utkarsh?
They can connect with me on Twitter. Utkarsh_Amitabh is my handle. And they can also write to me. My first name dot last name at fire.org is my email ID. So very happy to connect with anyone who has interesting ideas for Fire.
Great, guys. There you go. A direct message into with Fire itself via Utkarsh. So just to confirm it, your Twitter is Utkarsh Amitabh on underscore
Underscore
Amitabh.
Amitabh.
Cool. And your email
Yeah.
is utkarsh.amitabh at fire.org. Number 5ire.org.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Excellent. Okay, guys, if anyone's got any questions from the crowd, they want to come up and ask them verbally, no problem. Just put up your hand. You know the protocol. Put up your hand. We'll bring you up, and then you can start asking your questions. Please note something here. If the question was asked before by myself, or it was mentioned in a specific text or form, don't repeat yourself, please, because it just looks silly. Dude, if it's a new line of questioning, it has to be something of something that I did not cover during my discussions, but I'll bring you up anyway. I see Jul Toshi with the hand up. You're more than welcome to come up and ask your question if you like. Jutoshi, and also I've got Dashi with the hands up as well. You can come up, and you got Chukusu, who had a question from. I wanted to come up on
So,
stage
Matt, I
from.
will have to leave in a couple of minutes because we have a call. So maybe
No
you can
problem. Okay.
combine them and
Okay,
I
we'll
can
have
answer them.
one
Yeah.
last question, Dashi, then. The rest of you can leave it in the chat group, and then we'll get back to it when we answer. So, Dashi, go ahead.
Or ask me on Twitter. Yeah.
Yep. One last question, Vikash. Just quick one. Dashi, go ahead. Dashi, if your mic is not working, we'll have to bring you down because they've got limited time only. Dashi? Okay, we'll bring you down. Mic's not working. Okay, that saved you there. Okay, no problem. So listen, guys, you guys got Ukash's email and Twitter. First and foremost, on behalf of the ToastPunk community, I just want to thank you guys for really coming here. And I know the line of questionings is quite intense sometimes, but ultimately it is for the benefit and for the good of the project and also the space overall. And I think you guys are doing an amazing job with obviously what you guys have built there. And I think a lot of this will stem towards what the testnet users push and help with. Pratik, thank you so much for being here, my friend. I know your audio having troubles right now, but it's really lovely of you to chat and communicate with the guys there. Utkarsh, you guys got a Discord as well, is that right?
That is correct. Yes.
Guys, I will drop the links to the Discord later, but I'm sure you can find it via the Twitter page as well. FireChain on Twitter. I'll post that out. Now, there are a couple of giveaways sponsored by FireChain today, $150 that they have offered to us to give away. I have a snapshot of everyone that is here today so far. And also I have all the people that have responded on Twitter as well. After this, I will most likely do a live either on Twitch or either do it via Twitter. Okay, so everyone that has attended here today, thank you so much for being here. Once again, Utkarsh and Pratik, thank you again for coming to today's AMA in the ToastPunk World Discord. We would definitely love to connect again. I think it's very important for communities like this to stay in touch all the time. Utkarsh, is there anything else you want to end the topic with today?
I'm just like to say how inspiring it is to see ambassadors like yourself lead from the front and create more opportunities for the broader community. It's not lost on us, and let's keep building out this ecosystem together. Thank you very
Thank,
much.
thank you so much, Utkarsh. No problem. And guys, this is recorded, so it will be sent to those of you that can't make it. I know a lot of you guys are on a different time zone. I'll put it on YouTube as well, so we got everything down there for us to see and to hear it. Thank you once again, everyone, and Utkarsh and Pratik and guys. Once again, this is amazing, amazing time right now. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Okay, be well.